Good day, everyone. My name is Ng. I would like to express my gratitude and appreciation to the organizing committee for selecting my research topic entitled Startup Qualities as Influencing Factors in Funding Decision of Venture Capitalists as a Systematic Review. COVID-19 has started to disrupt the economy since end of 2019. It is continuing to infect the people around the world with more dangerous variants in more than 200 countries. With more than 214 million confirmed cases and 4.47 million deaths as of 27 August 2021. Daily confirmed cases has been increasing by 695,000 new cases each day, taking away averagely 8,899 lives daily. World monetary GDP loss is estimated at 76.69 billion US dollars. How about the outlook of the startup ecosystem during this pandemic? In just a few months' time, the COVID-19 crisis has brought about years of change in the way companies in all sectors and regions do business. In Malaysia, there is an increase of new business registration from 2019 to 2020, despite the pandemic situation that we are currently in. This may be due to the high unemployment rate in comparison with the past 10 years. Local people are resorting to starting their businesses, stepping their foot into the essential businesses in order to survive. Acceleration to digital transformation is the key to make a difference. Thus, the implementation of Industrial 4.0. This COVID-19 has forced business owners to transform their businesses and improve their product development in a much shorter period, with the adoption of digital technologies and leading them to be startups in their fields. With the condition to staying afloat and growing to survive, they need to discover a way to raise funds. The basis of putting a price tag on their startup companies is no other than valuation. How this startup valuation being conducted? Most of the startup valuations were conducted via Berkeley's method, scorecard method, risk factor summation method, discounted free cash flow method (DCF), and venture capital approach. Are these determinants that construct the methods affected by the current situation? To bridge the gap, this research is important to determine startup qualities in funding decision of venture capitalists during COVID-19 pandemic. That brings us to the research questions. What are the qualities venture capitalists look for in a startup valuation during COVID-19 pandemic? To answer to this research question, a systematic literature review was used as a method to identify, evaluate, and summarize the literatures with the utilization of preferred reporting items for systematic reviews and meta-analysis, PRISMA. A total of 145 journal articles were identified from Emerald Insight, JSTOR, and Google Scholar online databases. The search strings of startup valuation, startup qualities, startup values were used in this context. Only English articles and those that were produced from year 2020 were considered in the assumptions that this research was conducted after the occurrence of COVID-19. Upon completion of screening and eligibility processes, these articles were filtered after the records of duplicates were removed together with the application of exclusions and inclusions criteria. And this brings us to the balanced 9 articles that meet the criteria in this PRISMA framework. There is diversity in the determinants of startup valuation context, as startup valuation was a challenging task for any venture capitalist based on the nature of versatile business models according to a particular time and situation. Subsequently, the determinants of the startup's valuations are determined by a group of factors that can be categorized into 4 main areas: value, reality, immutability, and organization by using VRIO framework in resource view-based theory. As depicted in the diagram, cost differentiation, entrepreneurial skill set, and technology innovation form the value where the venture capitalists will consider first. Then the venture capitalists will continue to verify the qualities of the startups on the reality check. Pioneer status, intellectual capital, and the limited competitor position were validated before moving on to imitability hurdle. Strategy relationship, team commitment, family involvement, and track record shape this check. And finally, the stars will be evaluated on their systematic organizational management, management culture, and leadership in the final organization consideration in order to reflect themselves as having the competitive advantage. This comparative advantage will be the set of qualities that venture capitalists are looking for in a startup valuation during COVID-19 pandemic. There are inevitably limitations in any systematic review. This systematic review has three limitations that needed to be addressed. First, the review relied on only three databases and focuses on English language journal articles. Second, there may be ambiguity in the year of selection, as the assumption of the year 2020 research indicated that these researchers were carried out during the COVID-19 pandemic. It may not be in the actual fact. Hence, it may alter the actual findings of the research if thorough checking were to be done in all the articles that are selected for this review. Finally, the review might use narrow inclusion and exclusion criteria. Although the findings of this systematic review are not conclusive, nonetheless, it delivered the basis in startup valuation, that is the qualities venture capitalists look for in a startup valuation during COVID-19 pandemic. It is a fairly decent starting point and paved the pathway for future research. Thank you for listening and stay safe.